studying your last two. I swim med when they turned in. The styren down to mute. And can learn the pole that sunk he died.
This slide introduces an important evolution of the family business planning strategy. In the previous section, we looked at children working in the business before attending post-secondary education. Now we're looking at what happens when that involvement continues during college or university. Many people think of post-secondary education as a period where students focus exclusively on academics. While education should absolutely remain the top priority, there can be tremendous value in combining academic learning with meaningful work experience. On the left side of the slide, we see the traditional student-only path. The student attends classes, studies hard, completes assignments, and eventually earns a degree. There is nothing wrong with this path. In fact, earning a degree is a major accomplishment. However, this approach can create some limitations. The student may have little or no employment income. They may graduate with limited practical work experience. Their education expenses may be funded almost entirely by parents. And when they begin applying for jobs after graduation, they may have a smaller resume than candidates who have accumulated work experience during their studies. Now let's compare that to the right side of the slide. In this scenario, the student continues contributing to the family business while attending post-secondary education. The student still attends university. The student still works toward their degree. But at the same time, they are developing practical business skills, earning income, and gaining real-world experience. This creates a powerful combination. Instead of graduating with only a degree, the student graduates with a degree, work experience, and earned income. Notice the list of benefits on the right side. The student earns income that can help offset education costs. They build a stronger resume. They gain practical experience that future employers often value highly. They learn how businesses operate, and they begin developing professional skills that may not be fully taught in a classroom environment. This combination of academic knowledge and practical experience can significantly strengthen a student's future opportunities. The arrow in the center of the slide highlights another important concept. The goal is not simply to move from being a college student to becoming a graduate. The goal is to become a future professional. Professional success is often built through both education and experience working together. That is why this scenario is so powerful from a planning perspective. The student continues advancing their education while simultaneously building the skills, habits, and experience that employers and businesses value. Of course, balance remains important. The objective is not to overload the student with work responsibilities. The objective is to create a reasonable arrangement that complements their education rather than competing with it. When structured properly, the student benefits, the family benefits, and the business benefits. And that leads directly to the key message at the bottom of the slide. Post-secondary years can build more than a degree. They can build experience. They can build skills. They can build financial confidence. And they can help prepare a student for long-term professional success long before graduation day arrives. This slide highlights something that great advisors always look for in tax planning: situations where multiple parties benefit from the same decision. When a post-secondary student works in the family business, the benefits often extend far beyond the student alone. In fact, this arrangement can create advantages for three different groups at the same time: the student benefits, the family benefits, and the business benefits. Let's start with the student. On the left side of the slide, we see the many advantages that the student can gain through continued involvement in the business while attending school. The student earns income that can help pay for tuition, books, housing, transportation, and other education-related expenses. They gain valuable work experience while many of their peers are focused only on academics. They build a stronger resume before graduation. They develop professional skills that employers value. And perhaps most importantly, they graduate with both academic credentials and practical experience. This combination often creates a significant advantage when entering the workforce. Now let's look at the family benefits in the center column. When the student contributes toward their own education costs, some of the financial pressure on parents may be reduced. Education funding becomes a shared responsibility rather than a burden carried entirely by one generation. The family may also experience improved cash flow planning and greater financial flexibility. In addition, the arrangement can create opportunities for broader family financial planning discussions, helping young adults become more engaged in their own financial future. The result is often a more financially aware and responsible family unit. Now let's consider the business benefits. The student is not simply receiving compensation. The student is contributing value. The business gains a motivated employee who already understands the company's culture, operations, and objectives. The student may assist with administrative work, marketing projects, technology initiatives, research, customer support, or other valuable activities. Over time, this involvement can support continuity planning and future leadership development. The business also benefits from having someone who is familiar with the organization and invested in its long-term success. At the center of the slide is perhaps the most important visual: the triangle connecting the student, the family, and the business. This illustrates that all three groups are interconnected. When the arrangement is structured properly, value is created throughout the entire system. The student gains experience and income. The family gains financial support and responsibility sharing. The business gains a capable and motivated team member. This is why the trophy icon at the center is so appropriate. Everyone benefits from the arrangement. And that leads directly to the key message at the bottom of the slide. A well-designed family plan creates multiple winners. The strongest planning strategies are rarely those that benefit only one person. The most effective strategies create positive outcomes for everyone involved. In this case, the student develops professionally, the family strengthens financially, and the business gains valuable support. That is the essence of integrated family tax and business planning. When one activity creates benefits for the student, the family, and the business simultaneously, it becomes much more than a tax strategy. It becomes a long-term family success strategy. This slide focuses on an important reality that every advisor and family must remember. The goal is not simply to have a student work in the family business. The goal is to make the arrangement work properly. When structured thoughtfully, a student can gain valuable work experience while still achieving academic success. But when the balance is not managed well, both education and work performance can suffer. That is why professional planning always emphasizes structure, documentation, and balance. Let's begin with the best practices shown on the left side of the slide. First, the student must perform real work. The duties should be meaningful, necessary to the business, and appropriate for the student's skills and experience. Second, compensation should be reasonable. The amount paid should reflect the work performed and be consistent with what would be paid to someone else doing similar tasks. Third, flexibility is important. Academic schedules change throughout the year. During exams, major projects, and busy school periods, work responsibilities may need to be adjusted. Education should remain the primary focus. Fourth, duties should be documented. The business should maintain records showing the work performed, responsibilities assigned, and the value provided by the student. Fifth, Hours worked should be tracked. Good documentation supports both sound business practices and proper tax compliance. And finally, the arrangement should be reviewed regularly. As the student gains new skills, changes programs, or enters different stages of their education, their role within the business may evolve as well. Now let's look at the reminders on the right side of the slide. The first reminder is perhaps the most important. Education comes first. The purpose of this arrangement is to support the student's development, not interfere with it. The second reminder is that work should fit around school. The business should complement the student's education rather than compete with it. Third, documentation matters. Professional advisors always emphasize maintaining clear records of responsibilities, hours, and compensation. Fourth, wages should be market appropriate. The focus should remain on compensating actual work performed rather than simply transferring income. And finally, attention should be given to skill development. The ideal role is one that helps the student grow professionally while contributing meaningful value to the business. At the center of the slide, we see a student balancing university education on one side and family business experience on the other. This image captures the essence of the entire scenario. Success does not come from choosing one over the other. Success comes from balancing both effectively. That balance allows the student to develop academically, professionally, and financially at the same time. The advisor's message reinforces this idea perfectly. Build experience without sacrificing education. That is exactly the objective. The family business should serve as a learning opportunity that enhances the student's future prospects rather than becoming a distraction from their studies. And that leads us to the key takeaway at the bottom of the slide. The best outcome is a graduate with a degree, experience, and financial confidence. A degree provides knowledge. Work experience provides practical skills. And financial confidence provides independence and responsibility. When all three come together, the student leaves post-secondary education with a powerful foundation for future success. That is the true goal of this planning strategy.